Hey everybody, it is episode 358.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Prime Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Skip Wyss, and I have my beautiful wife, Dr. Julie Wyss. That blank stare, right? I didn't know what to say, so it's episode 358. Hi,
Hi.
how are you?
I'm good.
Hey, we are in the month of February, and this is the month of love. So if you guys, if you want to know all about like relationship stuff, last year in February, we did a 4-part series on relationships. From love languages to
dating your spouse,
money relationships, how to keep your love life and marriage romantic. So go back and review that. That was a year ago. So that would have been episode, what was this one?
358.
358. So that'd have been episode 306, somewhere right around in there. 304, 305-ish.
Quick math.
Yeah, well, you know, that's public school. So, hey, I really want to talk about us.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people know about us, or they find our lives fascinating, which doesn't surprise me. I think we lead some fun lives. I think some of our stuff is super boring. Other people seem to think that we travel all over the world. And I would say that 5 years ago, we were very busy. We traveled a lot. We've tapered that down since
the travel was always the intent to better ourselves.
Yep.
To better our family, and then that translates to bettering our patients and our community. So there's always a reason why we do everything that we do. It's very, I don't want to say methodical, but it's very well thought out. Like there's a reason, like we would never just up and leave, especially with our kids. And it's always been that way. Even when they were younger, we didn't just, like, oh, we're just going to spend a weekend away or go do something. There was a reason why to allow us to get to this point and to continue to grow and to serve.
Well, I think the first 17 years of our family really has been all leading up to our ability to spend time with our children when they're older. And really be able to be around them. But that comes back to you and I first meeting. Do you remember, let's get into this. So do you remember when we actually first met?
Well, we always say microbiology, but I believe it was in your favorite class. Before that. Biology of a Woman?
Yeah, it was before micro. We had, do you know when? Like, do you remember specifically when we had met?
You're putting me on the spot.
Well,
I don't know.
Either.
We sat. I never sat in the back of the classroom, but that was where you were. And I asked because I was leaving for a trip, and because you were always there, and I said, "Could you take notes for me?"
Yep.
And
Biology of a Woman.
Biology of a Woman, and I had to sit in the back of the classroom, and that was
you were back by me, which was weird. You were
sitting
correct.
Right next
I never
to me
and
sit
Ryan
in the
that
back
day.
of the class. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that was a good class. Biology of a Woman was a great class. That's one of those classes that I think all human biology students should take and really understand the biology of the female.
You were the only guy in the class.
There was one other guy. It was Ryan. He took it because he needed the credits. My best friend Ryan was there, and I believe that day we were actually talking about the anatomy of the vagina. And I had asked that question about the mons pubis. I remember that. And you looked over at me like, I can't believe this guy is asking this question. And then I think it was at the end of class where you're like, hey, can you just take notes for me? Because I'm going to be gone. And then we had kind of kept in contact that way. And then somewhere along that lines, within that week before spring break, we had talked outside microbiology class. And that's when I realized like you were in a few of my classes. You had been in organic chemistry before that. Yep.
We both, and we're talking about a University of Wisconsin, Green Bay.
Yep,
so
UWGB.
We neither of us are from Green Bay originally.
No.
but we both went to UW Green Bay, and that's kind of where the story starts.
Well, you were really good looking. I felt like you were way out of my league.
Just not tall enough.
Well, you had boyfriend. No, you weren't tall enough. No, I really, I always had a thing for taller women. I did. I just did. But then I always thought that when we started dating a little bit, I remember our first night out at the bars. You almost got me kicked out. Well, my friend Brandon came over, and we went out with your roommate Kim. And we ended up dancing on the bar at Keeter's, downtown Green Bay on Washington Street. It's not even there anymore.
That is the fun stuff. And I mean, and like, we had fun, but not like some people like totally go overboard.
No, we had normal college fun. Yeah. We had normal college fun. Like, and that was, that was a Thursday night we went out because it was what was it? $10 a cup to be at the bar.
Remember. I don't think I ever paid.
No, you never paid. You never paid. I saw pictures from that night. We looked so young.
I remember what I was wearing.
What were you wearing?
I had on, it had no straps, but a pink, like bodice type shirt and my good going out jeans.
Yep. Yeah, you look great.
And my tall boots.
And your taller boots. Yeah. And do you remember what I had on?
Nope.
White Velcro shoes.
Oh gosh.
Yep.
Yes.
White
that
Velcro
should be
shoes.
A whole podcast.
Because that was after spring break. Yep. That should be white Velcro shoes, which you hated.
That's the name of this podcast.
And a pair of khaki cargo shorts.
Yep.
Polo. And then I had on a black Hawaiian shirt with blue.
There you go.
Leaves on it.
I see it now.
And black necklace.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh gosh.
We had a great time. It was so much fun. We had a great time. It was great. And that didn't I think times have really changed. Like that was like true kind of dating. Getting to know each other, but just going out together with zero. I think nowadays with dating and stuff, there's always strings attached.
Yeah, like people are expectation.
Well, people are looking to hook up or smash, I guess is what kids call it now. Like they're looking to have sex on the first couple dates. Like that's literally, and that wasn't what our relationship was founded on at all. Like obviously physical attraction was there, but that wasn't the thing at all. Like it wasn't even close. You know, and that's, I think it was the respect for you. I think you may have actually, I don't know. I just really respected women. I still do. I always have. You know what I mean? Like, and I just never wanted to take advantage of situations.
And I think like that's where kind of the story takes a bit of like, oh, you must have met in graduate school. And no, we met in undergrad, microbiology, biology of a woman. But we both knew that we were going into,
we had very similar career paths.
Correct.
Yeah, just maybe not different, maybe not the same schools.
But little did you know, and I didn't know at the time, back in 6th grade when it was like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I opened up like the job, like the job book, right? And opened it up and it was C's and it was chiropractor and it was correctionals officer. And now after being together, like I find it funny that we are both kind of infatuated also with prisons.
Yeah, we've always been infatuated with corrections.
You know, but for me, that is what kind of started my interest in chiropractic. But at that time, shortly thereafter, like 6th, 7th, 8th grade, I like had this vision that, okay, I'm going to go on to chiropractic. I'm going to marry another chiropractor. I'm going to have 2 kids, a boy and a girl. Going to live in a red house with a little castle on the side. And I can physically check mark each of those things. But at the time, I didn't know that that was you.
Right.
It was just kind of all those things just kind of came into place. But I found chiropractic much differently than how you did because you grew up with chiropractic.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. I've been taken care of since I was 3 years old. I had stomach issues when I was little. My mom brought me to chiropractors at that point and brought me to the chiropractor that she was employed by. And then like that, they actually ended up inadvertently, the second chiropractor she worked with ended up being my mentors and pushing me into chiropractic. But yeah, 18 was when I decided I wanted to be a chiropractor. Like I knew from a sports injury, from a high school devastating injury in my knee, that I knew I was going to be a chiropractor after that because my chiros approached me on that, right? And yours was a little bit different than mine. In fact, I took those career tests things, placements, and you know this as well as I do. But yeah, I
Florist,
was
right?
supposed to be.
Flower shop.
They told me I should be a florist.
Well, you
Which
are very good.
yeah, yeah.
You are very good at arranging. You get
Yeah.
me flowers all the time, and you're really good at
Thanks.
arranging.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I don't know if that was just like because somebody suggested it.
Back up. You
Therefore,
can do the flower arranging, which I've always been like, that sounds like a lot of fun. But I would love to, like, you can arrange them and I will go drop them off and I'll do the delivery.
yeah. So we should just probably just run like a funeral home. Is that what? I'm just kidding.
No,
No. Well,
flower
we
shop.
need to talk to Caitlin, then we'll just go
Okay.
work for
Oh,
her.
perfect.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So yeah, we're all done with chiropractic, and I think that from that point, like having a very similar career path it does happens in chiropractic actually a lot, but a lot of people meet at grad school, and then they have to kind of figure each other out, and unfortunately a lot of them don't end up working together.
Right.
They actually work in different offices. They find out that they can't work together, that they're not compatible when it comes to somebody has to be the boss. That's their mentality anyways, and I will tell you in our relationship there really isn't a boss. We have different roles, and we really do recognize those roles and know where we fit in with each other. But we've also, both of us, I think, um, we both pick up the ball where it's on the court. Does that make sense?
Well, and I think of, I mean, from where a business started, coming back to Green Bay, not having like any relationships.
Yeah.
Like we were all in and we went all in on ourselves. So we only had, and we opened in 2008 in the recession. So we already were in the hole. Both of us not having, I mean, we just finished graduate school. So like absolutely no money. Brand new baby. Like there was only one way for us to go. And I don't like to fight tooth and nail, but I mean, like, we only had one thing to do and we had to survive. We knew whatever this was bigger than just us, and our community needed it. We just didn't know how bad the community needed it at that time.
Yeah, I'm correct. And we were looked at very funny by banks. That was hard. So like after we got married, you ended up pregnant within a month.
Well, here, like side note, like
I got you
graduate school, it's like the adage is you either get married, get divorced, or have a kid. Well, we did two of those. We're clearly married. And it was in our last trimester of school. We got married, and it had to be like over our break. And we found out a month later that we were pregnant.
We were engaged for 2 years. Not living together either. We started living together out of necessity because I wasn't going to open up another year lease on an apartment. So we moved in together, I think like 2 months before we got married. So we were living separately. I mean, we didn't live together either, which
space is good while you're figuring things out.
Yeah, you have to figure things out, and you change so much headspace wise from 21 to 25, which was when we were together and kind of learning each other as we went and understanding who we were and really trying to figure out after that, like what our lifestyle was going to be like, what our business was going to be like. And then on top of it, now we have Peyton. Which was a big change.
And I think that's part of why we're really successful, because like lots of the stories when people come into us of like the stressors that they're under, like we lived it. Like that was us. Like pure devastation of like, not that I didn't ever want to have kids, right? But the timing,
Peyton was at that time, you getting pregnant was devastating.
To me was not ideal. But if I look back on it, there never would have in my head, because I'm a schedule, let's follow that list. It never would have been placed on that list.
No, there's never an opportune time to have a child. It's kind of like losing weight. Like, well, I'm going to start tomorrow, and then I'm going to start tomorrow. Well, then I can't because, Valentine's Day is in 2 weeks. Or the 4th of July is coming. And so we just keep putting things off, or there's never a convenient time. But actually the most convenient time to do anything is immediately and to start it, right? So, but we didn't think that way. You were devastated. No. Like that was hard. And then that whole year then, you being pregnant, going on clinic abroad, you getting dehydration while we were on clinic abroad, you getting super sick in the freaking third world country of Brazil. And then like it's just how God laid our plan out. And then people constantly telling us, like, as we're in business and starting out, like, oh, you're so young. Oh, you're so young. Like, you don't even realize how young you are. Yeah, I do, because everybody tells me. Yeah, we were young. I mean, 25. And starting our own business, both of us have our doctorate. Nobody to fund us. We
Really,
funded
no, yeah, I was gonna
ourselves.
say no money, no support, right? You
No
look for
support.
mentorship, and like this will be one of the podcasts that we'll talk about like why we specialize and why we do the teaching and everything that we do,
Yeah.
because it was really a like a eating your young, right? Like we were looking for support, and it would cost something, or told, well, you're never going to succeed.
Yep.
And when people come in and say, I've been to all these providers and nobody can help me, nobody can give me the information or the support, like we understand.
Right.
We get it. Like we lived it. I mean, we talk about wanting to open our business, and was it 25 out of 26 like everybody just said no, and all these doors kept on closing. And it was, and I think that's really where, like, in a relationship, we're talking about for the month of February, right? A relationship can tear, like, those stressors can tear a relationship apart.
Yep.
Or you figure it out and you work together and you support each other. And like, and I think that's where God, he steps in, and maybe these doors are closing because we needed to meet this one person, right? It needed to go into this trajectory.
Yep.
And in that moment when you're living it, it doesn't feel like that. It's pure devastation and stress. But I think that's where like the fight comes in, and you realize, oh, we can actually do this. And like we talk about mindset a lot, that's where if you don't make up your mind, the rest of the world is going to tell you what you need to believe. And at that moment, if we would have listened to all of the mentors, to all of our colleagues, to our teachers, to the professors, to the doctors that said, you'll never make it, like look what our community would be missing out on.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, wow. That's, yeah, I guess putting it that way, that's a moment that my mind just kind of just wrapped around with what you were saying there. I mean, had we not done all the steps we've went through, and the struggles and the hardship and almost being bankrupt and robbed, and
I'm stubborn. Don't tell me no.
I think we both are.
Yeah.
The motivation's just different, you know. And those are all very perfect laid out steps that at the time didn't seem correct. And that's where people will question. They question, number one, being together. But if you truly feel that you were put in each other's lives by God, and that you were meant to be together by the hand of God, things will work out all the time, and quit second guessing it. Just keep working in the day. And you'll hear successful people talk about this a lot too. And we mirror a lot of this in our marriage and in our business. But you really do need to get caught up in the day to day, and not get caught up in what's speculative the next week, the next month, and really enjoy being in the process of doing what you're doing, whether it's working on being in your marriage, being with your children, going, like when you're at seminars, things like that, or even if you're just trying to be at church. Like, are you truly present? And they say that, like, are you present in that moment? The reason why they say that is because that is absolutely the truth. Like, are you there? Because if you're not, you're missing out on what's in front of you. You know, you're missing out on all of that. And then tomorrow, when they say tomorrow may never come, it may not. So what did you miss out on in front of you that day?
Right.
You know, and had I not taken those chances of asking you out, or hanging out with each other for weeks at a time, just getting to know each other, and we wouldn't be where we are. And the community wouldn't have what it has. The chiropractors that come to this community wouldn't have it nearly as easy as what they have it, because we worked on it for 10 years, almost a decade, before people started showing up in Green Bay, opening up offices, family focused, pediatric based, which is awesome. I kind of see that as more of a, in the background, I'm glad we did what we did to help everybody make it a little bit easier for them.
Is that important?
Yeah, so they didn't have to struggle, so they didn't have to be almost bankrupt and then get broke into. You know, that, like, those are all the steps that we had to go through. And that makes me really happy. It makes me really proud. And it makes me super proud now to see our kids grow up in this and see the lifestyle that they've had. And what I mean by that is not the way they live, but how they live, how their body actually functions. And that brings us to, which our next episode is going to be on, is why we actually do this. Because our children live a very different life than 95% of the kids out there. I would say that because they live a different life than everybody else whose parents are not chiropractors.
And that's okay. Like there is no right or wrong, but sometimes it'd be nice to have more relationships for them that understands maybe a different way of processing or thinking. But our kids are really good at understanding and empathy. And like if you don't know that you don't know. And I think that's the biggest thing of having grace in that moment. But then that's what makes the conversations that we have a whole heck of a lot of fun.
Yeah, and it's exactly it. And it also brings a lot of levity and humor to conversations as well, because some of the stuff that people do that they think is correct is just super humorous to all of us, and it's not making fun of them. It's the humor in how or what somebody has chosen to let into their mind as being correct, when it's so blatantly just skewed. And it's not necessarily wrong. It's just skewed, and it's funny, and to find humor in it, and then understand like, okay, how do then we, like our kids will ask like, how do I get my friend to come in and see you? I'm like, well, that conversation has to start with their parents, and they have to then understand that there's more to this than just XYZ going on with their friend. And then, well, Dad, I know you can help them. Yeah, I know I can help 100% of the people out there that have a nervous system, which is everyone. But how do we segue those conversations? And then when you're around people that aren't necessarily chiropractors, what can you learn from them? Like, what can we take from those conversations of people being around us? And then come back to our relationship and into our marriage.
Well, a lot of it is listening, right? Lots of times if we can just close the lips and actually listen to what that other person is saying, then you can understand their thought process. And again, if that is how they grew up, or if that's the only thing that they've been surrounded by, then that makes it easier to then listen and understand, and then maybe have an option to introduce something different or a new concept.
Yeah, listening. Like that concept, or just listening to see what's going on, or not always try to offer a solution. That's really hard as a guy. It's really hard as a dad,
as a parent. Yeah,
as a parent, to have our 17-year-old like literally say to me, like really bluntly and not the nicest, like, I am not asking you for help. I am just trying to talk to you. And
but we had to teach that to everybody, because it's kind of like, okay, do you want us to just listen, or do you want help? Do you want a response? And lots of times it's just because, again, like they're on a little bit of an island, right? And they think differently. And so just to have that other person, just to be able to like talk through some stuff, but to close the lips is really tough.
Well, as a parent, you want to you want a solution. As a guy, I want to try to solve things for people. And even for you, like, you'll come to me about things, and sometimes I think you are looking for an answer and I don't know how to even give it to you. And other times you're not looking for an answer at all, and then I give you my advice and it's not the best situation. But it's not that it's bad, it's just not what you were looking for. But we've taught our children, especially our daughter, to speak her mind to us, which I think is going to help her when she's older.
I sure as heck hope so.
Got it.
Right now it's a struggle.
It's better. It's a struggle, and that's okay, because it's meant to be. But also you learn so much from being a parent of how adults think, and to really at times really understand like how to ask questions and get answers out, versus, or like, at times maybe I shouldn't be giving advice on this. I'm not going to. And just let that person talk. because she's been blunt.
Always.
But she's wonderful. She's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
She's absolutely fantastic. So next week we're going to talk about why we actually do what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Now you know a little bit more about our past, our background, how we met. You know, I still that day when we got married, Julie was so worried I was going to pick my nose. Like
True.
On camera,
True.
you're still worried about me picking my nose, especially like even if I'm on stage.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm always watching.
Yeah.
Some things just you never grow out of.
Some guy just got to pick his nose. Like, what's wrong? It's just got to happen. So, all right. With that, we will see you all next week. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. We will see you next week. Have a great week. Bye, everyone.